It has been one whole year since Secret of the Mimic came out, but one single character remains unsolved, the White Tiger. And I believe one singular theory can answer the mystery of this character and where it remains now. But firstly, who is the White Tiger? The White Tiger first appears in the theatre, causing lights to flicker as it looks at us, and giggles at us. Our kinda second encounter happens with the White Tiger after we are done with Dolly. Our proper second encounter happens right after the parade float puzzle. The White Tiger appears, lights flicker, looks at us and giggles, and then it disappears. But once we go down to basement 2, this is when the White Tiger is dangerous. To avoid him, we have to traverse the basement by only using the lights, and start orphans till we reach the end, leaving the White Tiger in the darkness. There is one secret room down here, but I will cover that later. Another White Tiger appearance is in the main office. Once we do New Game Plus, we obtain it as a collectible, and the White Tiger doll appears next to David in a family photo. This is all the times the White Tiger appears, apart from Help Wanted 2, which is simply a teaser to Secret of the Mimic. We find the White Tiger in Secret of the Mimic, just like how we find the van, the MXES machine, the Mimic, and the MCM building in Secret of the Mimic. It's all just teasers. Do I believe some of these teasers are lore important? Yes, but I just don't believe the common belief about the White Tiger doll, that it's a memory doll, mainly because it's completely different to the others. You get it in the same way you get the puppets. You don't need it to do Princess Quest, the minigame where you need all the memory dolls. It also doesn't have its own Fast Force figure. There is no Wheel Driver, there is no Orchestra Crush, and there is no David Toy Sync. So, if it is lore important, I believe it is just to write Glitch Trap back to the Mimic. But that is for its own video. But now, onto David's death. Yes, before we get to solving the White Tiger, we have to go over David's death, since it does matter to the White Tiger. And I don't really want to make a whole different video on this one topic. We do get a surprising amount of good information on David's death, from 2 mail logs and David's 5th birthday tape.
This is great, he's gonna love it. Fiona, did you make this?
I baked it myself, for David's special day.
Well, great job. You just continue to surprise me. Alright, I think we're ready. Okay, everyone hide. Fiona, go get him. I left him out at the playground.
The mail logs already give us a concrete date, Saturday, December 6th, likely on 1975. But who caused it? It happens on his playground and while no one is watching him. But who caused it? Well, I would first like to eliminate the idea of it being a car accident, because it just doesn't make sense. This theory stems from Tales of the Pizzaplex, which reminder is not canon anymore. In the books, David gets hit by a car, because he chased his ball out onto the road. And this doesn't line up with where David dies at all, because the only road near David's playground, which we know David dies at his playground, is the one Arnold drives on. And I really do doubt his ball rolled all the way over here and then he got hit by a car. And also, David's ball isn't even on this road, neither is his real ball. Now many people know this, instead talking about the loading bay, where David's ball may have rolled out onto here and then he got hit by a truck. Which, this is a good theory, but I still don't believe it. And the proof for this theory is an audio log and a small emphasis on David's ball in the 4th birthday tape.
Look, I get your concerns, I do, but they're all just groundless. This is the perfect spot for David's playground. I can watch him play while I'm loading and unloading freight, and he'll be under watch at all times out there. The loading dock is like 200 feet away, and there's a fence and everything. I know you're my lawyer and all, but there's no regulation that says I can't have it there, so just get off my back. Besides, David loves the new slide. It'll be fine.
Firstly, I believe the audio log can be interpreted much differently. I believe it heavily says that David's death was caused because no one was watching him. The idea of David being watched is very much mentioned within this audio log.
I can watch him play while I'm loading and unloading freight, and he'll be under watch at all times out there.
And yes, David's playground being near the loading bay is quite dangerous, but I believe this is just another case of Edwin being a bad father. He's too busy to notice the obvious dangers around David's playground. This also happens another time in the game, within the 1st birthday tape. Edwin scares David with the Roxy puppet, David starts crying, but Edwin still continues, not seeming to care that much that David is crying because of it. And no, this isn't me saying that Edwin didn't care for David, but it is quite clear that Edwin just wasn't the best father. But now the ball. David's ball has a very strange emphasis in the 4th birthday tape.
Of course.
But why? Well, many people have used this to say that David's ball rolled out into the loading bay, and then he got hit by a truck, which I still do doubt this, since David's ball is still on his playground and his real ball is in the moon's basement, which still could have easily just moved this ball onto the loading bay, but they didn't. But still, why the emphasis on David's ball? Well, I believe they wanted to show that Moon.exe mirrors the real world. David's toys are in 3 different areas, just like Moon.exe. But I will cover this much deeper when I get to Moon.exe. And now that we have went over most of the evidence suggesting that it was a car accident, and have came to the conclusion that it wasn't, who or what caused it then? Well, if it's not a car accident, that makes the idea that it was a random MCM employee or just a random person very unlikely. Since why would a random person go and kill David? And no MCM employee really has a reason to kill David. Alongside Edwin calling all of them in, we're going to need everyone to come in this weekend. This is not optional. So it has to be William Afton, right? Well, I don't believe this, since the main piece of evidence is that, oh, he's done something like this before, and the Help Wanted 2 White Tiger doll, which we have already went over to just be a teaser. There is no Will Driver, there is no Orchestra Crush, and there is no David Toy Sync. But if not William and not some random person, who killed David? Well, we get told the answer within the game. Within Secret of the Mimic, there is a choose your own adventure type game, Moon.exe. We're going to skip most of this game till we reach the broken down cabin, and what lies inside. Once we enter with the baby owl, we get introduced to the son, who asks us one thing: fix the masks to earn reward. So we do this, using the foxy puppet's eye to fix the fox mask, using the man statue, Edwin's bow tie on the bear mask, and then we use the sewing kit to fix the rabbit mask. Once we fix them, we get a reward, a baby owl mask. This is a very special magical mask. The moon will now think you are the baby owl. You have your reward and your sacrifice. The cave will wait you now. But something is missing. The baby owl is. Asking son gives us this response. The baby owl flew away, but digging deeper we find the truth. We can go and examine the stove. The stove is very hot. Something is cooking. Smells like chicken. The baby owl was killed by the old woman, being the sacrifice the old woman mentioned. And yes, I've seen the belief that it's meant to be an accident, but this simply doesn't match up. Before we get our reward, the stove is cold. The oven is very cold. Nothing is cooking inside. Unless the owl flew in, somehow turned on the oven without the old woman noticing, this isn't possible. So no, I don't believe it was an accident. Instead, I believe the old woman put the baby owl in the oven as our sacrifice. Well, what does this mean? As many know, the baby owl represents David. The son or old woman represents F10N4, because it is the image that flashes above the F10N4 machine, associating F10 with the sun we see in Moon.exe. Alongside this, the old woman acts like F10-4. For example, both of them share the same goal. F10-4 begs Edwin and gets people killed to have M2 mimic David. And the old woman at the end of Moon.exe gives us the glitch permissions, which we use to repair M2 and turn him back to David. So now we know. The old woman is meant to represent F10-4, or at least connect back to her, and the baby owl is meant to represent David. And the old woman, F10-4 or M1, killed the baby owl, David. So yes, I believe M1 killed David. But why? Well, I would like to cover this question before any additional proof, because it is the most complicated thing within this theory. So, I believe M1 killed David because he would grow up, leaving M1 without a purpose. But what do I mean by this? Well, we already know that M1 was only made to babysit David.
Think of it as your new babysitter, but doesn't get paid and go home. It'll stay with us and help around the house.
Never to be Fiona, never to be anything more. So when David grows up, she would practically be a box of scraps. And I don't believe M1 just did this because she thought, oh, if David grows up, I won't be able to care for him, so let me just kill him now. I believe M1 thought of a second mimic, M2. She kills David, which would allow M2 to be made, to be a David that would live forever. David would be the sacrifice, and his personality, liking the tiger, being a child, would be the reward. This also basically confirms who we play as in Moon.exe. We play as a learning M2 who gets the reward of being David, forever. I believe this perfectly explains why she would do it. And it explains why David was killed on his birthday. It's symbolic. David dies on the day he grew up, because M1 didn't want him to grow up. So now we have a reason for M1 killing David. But is there any more proof for her killing David than just Moon.exe? Well, there technically is. As I said, I would cover how I believe Moon.exe mirrors the real world, such as David's toys appearing in 3 different chests in Moon.exe, David's toys in the real world appearing in 3 different places. The moon, who is meant to represent Edwin, has an emotional reaction to something pretending to be the baby owl, who is meant to represent David, just like what happens in the real world. Edwin has an emotional reaction to seeing M2 mimic David. And finally, the MCM part of this minigame is exactly what happens in the real world. We go into the welcome show, we go to Jackie, we go to Big Top, we go to Dolly, and then we get to Party Time Chica. This is exactly what Arnold does in the real world. There are many more examples, but I believe this is the same situation as the old woman killing the baby owl. It's simply meant to represent M1 killing David. M1 obviously didn't put David inside the oven. But more proof for this theory is that we know in the 5th birthday tape that M1 is sent out to go get David.
Alright, I think we're ready. Okay, Everyone hide. Fiona, go get him. I left him out at the playground.
And as we already went over, the main cause of David's death is because no one was watching him. This would give M1 the perfect time to kill David when no one is watching him. Alongside this, David parallels Crying Child, who I will call Dave, since I do believe that theory. For example, both Dave and David share having brown hair, alongside Dave and David potentially sharing the same name, carrying around a stuffed animal. For Dave it's Fredbear, and for David it's the White Tiger. Both die on their birthdays, and if the theory that M1 killed David is true, then that creates two more parallels between Dave and David. They both died to animatronics, M1 and Fredbear, and they both died to something they were afraid of. David's only line in the audio log is this:
"It's scary."
This is when Edwin shows off M1 to David, a robot, and we were shown throughout FNAF 4 that Dave is afraid of the animatronics, like Fredbear. That is the whole reason that Michael and his friends take him to Fredbear, because he is afraid of Fredbear. But now that we have went over all the supporting proof, we have hopefully solved David's death. We can finally answer the question: what is the White Tiger? Well, we can strongly say that this thing is paranormal, because it shows up on the monitors and cameras can't pick up hallucinations. And it is quite unlikely for it to be the Mimic, since it teleports around and acts completely different to the Mimic. For example, the Mimic will just kill you whenever it can find you, unlike the White Tiger. If it was the Mimic, it would just run over to you and kill you, so it has to be paranormal. And it lines up with how other ghosts act in the series, such as Golden Freddy. They both teleport around and project hallucinations into your mind. Now, I'm nowhere near the first person who has said this, but my point is still being proven. Alongside this, White Tiger voice lines can be heard all over MCM. I believe this implies the White Tiger having a ghostly presence all over the MCM. Alongside this, when entering the basement, you can hear David's laughs very faintly in the background. But it's only strongest near the basement, for a reason that I'll get to later. So now that we have established it's paranormal, we still have the question: what is it? Because in FNAF, paranormal can be a lot of things. Ghosts, agony entities, even robot children. Well, firstly, it is obviously connected to David Murray. We see the White Tiger doll right next to David in the only time where we get to see David's appearance, in the family photo. We also learn through Moon.exe that the White Tiger was David's first birthday present. His first birthday present, the White Tiger doll, his favourite. We learn from this that the White Tiger is very important to David. It also shares the same blue and green eye condition, heterochromia. Another connection between the White Tiger and David is that the White Tiger has the same voice as David.
Mama loves presents.
Just with a glitchy effect. And the connection that I haven't seen anyone else bring up is that even when the White Tiger first appears, it is connected back to David. When we first meet it in the theatre, if we go right, we can find a videotape. Now playing this tape gives us the Mycelium Men advertisement.
Bring the magic and whimsy of the Mycelium Men home with you today. It's the new musical Mycelium Men. They repeat any song they hear or anything you say. It's like having your very own band or a friend.
Wow!
Collect them all and let them jam. Pretty groovy.
And the only person who we see in this tape is David. We know this is meant to be David since they share the same voice.
Wow! Wow!
And it lines up with the other people in the advertisements representing the Murray family. You need more proof? Firstly, in the Mycelium Men tape posted by Stillwell, we hear multiple White Tiger lines who is connected to David.
Collect musical Mycelium Men. Pretty groovy.
And the Mycelium Men are mostly blue, then green. Blue, then green. Blue, then green. Blue, then green. There are so many examples of this, but my point is that blue and green are the same exact way David Murray's eyes are. Blue, then green. Exactly like most of the Mycelium Men suits, cutouts. There's also one of the blue then green cutouts right next to David's cubbyhole. Alongside this, once we enter David's room, we can find 3 different Mycelium Men. But we see 2 when we enter, blue on the left and green on the right, in David's bedroom. Alongside this, we see one of David's drawings being a Mycelium Men. So what does this all mean? Well, I believe David is represented by the Mycelium Men. Now that's cool and all, but how does this relate back to the White Tiger? Guess who's right behind the White Tiger when we first see it? That's right, the Mycelium Men, which are in the order blue, then green. which we have connected back to represent David. But there are only 2 connections between the Mycelium Men and the White Tiger, if we don't count the blue and green Mycelium Men. But you'd be wrong, since there are even more connections. In the area where the White Tiger segment officially ends, since we get the Thunderphobia achievement for getting past the White Tiger, guess what we see? Mycelium Men lights, Mycelium Men suits, and Mycelium Men cutouts. The White Tiger has been associated with the Mycelium Men, who we have connected to represent or connect back to David Murray. But you know, as Mr. Hippo says,
maybe it doesn't mean anything at all. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all.
Another connection you can make between the theatre, White Tiger and David is that, as I said, the White Tiger first shows up in the theatre, and minutes later once we begin the puppet show, guess who shows up? Foxy's pirate crew, and one of the members of this crew is Roxy, aka one of David's first ever presents, shown by the first birthday tape. The area where the White Tiger appears is right after the area where we can go and listen to the audio log about David's playground. And this one may be a stretch, but the warehouse, which is very close to where we see the White Tiger, holds one of David's toys, David's blocks. The White Tiger also says things that would only relate to David. David's playground has its own birthday tape dedicated to it, alongside it being David's playground.
You're my only friend.
This is likely referring to the White Tiger doll, since I doubt David went to school like in the books. It also parallels Crying Child, since he deems his toys as friends. These are basically all of the connections between David and the White Tiger that many others and I have found. So what does this all mean? Well, I believe this strongly shows that the White Tiger is David's ghost, because we've already went over the White Tiger being paranormal, and the many connections between the White Tiger and David. It simply lines up the best. After David Murray's death, his spirit manifested as the White Tiger, his favourite toy, using his own voice and wandering freely across the MCM. But this has problems, a lot of them. Firstly, why is it strongest within the basement? David seems to die near his playground, so you'd expect his ghost to be strongest there. Why does he repeat other characters' voice lines? Why does he have a glitchy robotic effect on his voice? Why does he make robotic noises? But you get my point, it simply can't just be David, so who or what is it? Well, the White Tiger is a projection. I pivot my theory, Tiger projection, which is the theory that the White Tiger is a projection. For example, the projector in Secret of the Mimic. Get a tape, put it inside, then the projector projects the tape. This is how I will explain this theory because it is the easiest way too. I believe Scott and Stillwell wanted us to use this explanation, hinted at by all the projector imagery across the new games. But now we have a question. Who's the projector, who's the projection, and who's the tape? Well, in this explanation, the projector is meant to represent the mimic endoskeleton, but I'll just refer to it as M2 because that's easier. The projection is obviously meant to be the White Tiger, hence the name Tiger Projection. And the tape is meant to represent David Murray's spirit. But how? Firstly, let's explain how David Murray's spirit would be the tape. It firstly explains all the many connections between David and the White Tiger, such as the fact it uses David's voice, connects to the Mycelium Men who connect to David, and says things that only David would relate to. This being the projection of David's spirit from M2 explains all these connections, and why it takes the appearance of the White Tiger doll, since it's his first ever present, David's first present, and it explains what happened to David's spirit before and after Secret of the Mimic. It attached to the mimic endoskeleton. When M1 killed him, or found his body, his spirit latched onto the closest thing, the endoskeleton. And I believe it stays like this till Ruin. David is also associated with tapes. We use David's birthday tapes to escape the Murray house. So now that we have went over the tape, how is M2 the projector? Well, M2 is already somewhat associated with projectors. But where? Well, before Secret of the Mimic came out, we got 4 teasers, which were the tapes, that you would be able to play on projectors in this game. The teaser for this game that is about the Mimic is something you can only do on a projector. Alongside this, in Help Wanted 2, if you believe that one of the Mimics is Glitch Trap, then if it's M2, that connects M2 to a projector even more. Because in the Phase Force ending of this game in the files, it is called Help Trap, which the main person who encourages you to unlock the Phase Force figures to get this ending is Help I. And once Manny kills Glitch Trap, Help I disappears too. This has been said by many people before me, but what do we see Help I on? A projector screen, specifically a pull-down one. And as I said, if you believe Glitch Trap is one of the Mimics, personally I believe it is M2, this is M2 on a projector screen. M2 being the projector also makes sense of all the connections between M2 and the WhiteTiger, without leaving the David connections as a problem. Wait, M2 connections? Yes, the WhiteTiger is connected to M2, heavily. The biggest one being that the WhiteTiger is literally a mascot suit, and the fact that the WhiteTiger often repeats phrases M2 has said, and repeats other phrases other characters have said.
Stop! You're not him! You're not! Stop sounding like him!
Stop! You're not him. You're not! Stop sounding like him!
I baked it myself for David's special day.
I baked it myself for David's special day.
Daddy's busy, buddy. Why don't you go outside and play?
Daddy's busy, buddy. Why don't you go outside and play?
I'm sorry, M2. I lost my temper. I was always going to fix you.
I'm sorry, M2. I lost my temper. I was always gonna fix you.
They also both share the same glitchy effect on their voices. The WhiteTiger also makes mechanical noises, just like M2. And the connection I don't see many people bring up is that the WhiteTiger is strongest and is only able to kill us when it is in basement 2, which is right below where M2 was beaten, and where it was made. The workshop hidden away in the basement where his body was formed, and above it was where his soul was given. This is a connection between both David and M2, but the WhiteTiger curls its arm, which is exactly what David does when holding the WhiteTiger and what M2 does in the storytime ending. There are a few more connections between M2 and the WhiteTiger, but I'd consider them stretches. The WhiteTiger first appears right next to the theatre, where we know we find Foxy's crew, and in one of the ads for the physical release of Secret of the Mimic, we see M2, tearing off the head of the Foxy puppet. Now the last connection that I have found is that the name of where the WhiteTiger is strongest is called Basement 2, just like M2. Both end with a 2, but this is a very, very big stretch. But now that we have went over the M2 connections, M2 being the projector, and David being the tape, makes both of these characters' connections to the WhiteTiger make sense, because that is how I think projections work in FnaF. Usually when there is a projection in FNAF, the projection has similarities to both the tape and the projector. For example, the FNAF movie and the new kid. In both these stories we see a child, who is likely a projection. In the FNAF movie, the projection is this child, projecting a spirit from Freddy. In the new kid we have Kelsey, who is likely a projection of whoever possesses Golden Freddy in Frights, and I believe it is Andrew. But why do these matter? Well, it shows that the idea of characters being projections can be true in FNAF, but as I said, it also explains why the WhiteTiger has both connections to M2 and David. Since, look at the projection in the first movie, it has similarities to whoever possesses Freddy, likely Gabriel, but I believe it also has similarities to Freddy. His shirt being brown, orange and white, alongside his black trousers. This matches up with Freddy's colour scheme, brown being his primary colour, the orange being the secondary colour, the black being the same colour as his bow tie and hat, and the white representing his teeth and eyes. Alongside this, the child who seemingly possesses Foxy manifests in Mike's dream with a hook, just like how Foxy has a hook. Golden Freddy, who is objectively very similar to the WhiteTiger, also projects itself as a child in the movie. This could be a stretch, but I believe the new kid makes this idea even stronger. Kelsey is likely a projection from whoever possesses Golden Freddy. Like I said, in Frights it is likely Andrew. Kelsey is a boy, like Andrew, and has blue eyes and blonde hair, unlike Andrew. This can be explained with the same reasoning I used for Gabriel. The projection is pulling stuff from both the tape and the projector. So in Kelsey's case, he's a boy, like Andrew, but somewhat has the same colour scheme as Golden Freddy. His blonde hair is yellow, like Golden Freddy. He has blue eyes, just like Fredbear, which both Fredbear and Golden Freddy are the same. And the final point is that Kelsey has a grey accessory, which grey is close to black, and guess who has black accessories? Golden Freddy. This last point could be considered a stretch, but you get my point. The projection is pulling things from both the tape and the projector. But this explains why the WhiteTiger has connections to both David and M2. And yes, this is in the books, but things from the books can be canon. For example, The Mimic came from the books, is canon now. And yes, the movies are also not canon, but I believe we can also use this logic. Just how projections work in FnaF. It pulls from David, for example his voice, and pulls from M2, for example the whole mimicking other characters thing, for David's spirit to manifest as the White Tiger. This is also why it's a mascot suit, but its head isn't fully connected. It's like when David actually had the doll, its head was floppy, so it pulls from that, but M2 goes in and out of mascot suits, so it pulls from that. And I apologise if this is confusing, but that's how I think ghosts work in FNAF. They are similar to how people believe ghosts work in real life. They are spirits of dead people, but no one believes that said spirits can move around heavy animatronics in real life. It has the same concept, but it's different. This is how I believe projections work. It has the same concept, needing a tape and a projector, and then the projection happens from whatever is the tape, but it needs the projector. In FNAF, I believe this works the same. The tape is the ghost. The projector is a body, whether that be a suit, endo, or a program, and then the projection is a manifestation of the spirit, relying on the projector. But in FNAF, the projection pulls from both the projector and tape. Alright, I think that was less confusing, and I'm hoping I explained it well. But is there any additional other proof? Well, yes. Since the White Tiger is similar to Golden Freddy, this could suggest it works the same way. Since I doubt Golden Freddy in FNAF 1 is real, it is likely just a projection from the dead kid inside Golden Freddy. We know it parallels Golden Freddy. If Golden Freddy is like a projection, being a dead kid's projection from something, then as I said, that would suggest that the White Tiger works like this too. And we can get more proof suggesting Tiger projection. Is that the area where we first see the White Tiger has multiple projectors. We can find even more proof on David's playground. An astronaut holding two flags, three things, the flags and the astronaut. Just like Tiger projection, three things. David's playground is showing this. In this situation, the astronaut would be the White Tiger and the flags would be the endo and David's spirit. Alongside this, we went over how this kid is a projection of the dead kid inside Freddy, and this child speaks.
Follow me.
This is just what the White Tiger does.
Stop. You're not him.
Which its speaking is a simple thing, but next to the other proof we have, this could suggest the idea that it is a projection even more. Tiger projection also explains why the White Tiger is hostile. David's spirit is projecting itself from the mimic endoskeleton, which was beaten and infested with agony, which would end up affecting David's spirit, causing it to project as a dangerous projection. Also explaining why the White Tiger acts like we were in a child's game. David's spirit is projecting the White Tiger. David played games. For example, in drawings, David draws himself and M1, likely after doing something that was fun for David, like a game. As I said, this is why the White Tiger acts like we're playing a game, because of David's spirit. Meanwhile, it kills us because of the agony-riddled M2. We can also use Tiger projection to explain why the White Tiger doesn't attack us when we have the Star Orphans. It's like how M2 won't attack us when we are holding something important to David, the White Tiger doll. Instead, in this situation, we are holding the Star Orphan, which we find in David's hideout. Even more proof for this theory is Help Wanted 2, the level where you get the White Tiger doll, which yes, I said isn't lore important, but I don't believe it is lore important to Afton's story. It is found in the level called Puppet Master. David's spirit and M2 are almost puppeteering the White Tiger, making it have similar aspects to each of them, making it act like each of them, making it even sound like each of them. And you get this still by entering the year, 1979. Which what year does the White Tiger first show up in? 1979. Because of David's spirit projecting it. And in the level called Puppet Master, because it is almost being puppeteered, aka Tiger projection. So I believe Tiger projection is the best explanation to what the White Tiger is at the moment. It makes sense of all the David and M2 connections, explains why it is strongest within the basement, explains why it shows up in certain areas like the theatre, explains why it attacks us, explains why it takes the appearance of the White Tiger, explains why it makes mechanical noises. But now, a question I've had since the game came out, where did the White Tiger go? With Tiger projection, we get our answer. As I said, David's spirit is attached to the endo. It follows wherever the endo goes, from Secret of the Mimic to whatever happens in between to Ruin. So the White Tiger should have some presence within this game, right? Well, yes, but it doesn't. But I believe we do see it in some form. Hear me out. In Ruin, once we pause the game, we can see these little messages. Now obviously you can say these aren't in-universe, but I believe they are, mainly because of the ones we get before and after deactivating Roxy. Deactivate the final node, don't think, just do it. And after we get this. Don't feel bad, it was for the best. If these were simple objective hints, why would they say this? You can easily shorten the first one to deactivate the final node, and you don't necessarily even need the second one. So what do I think these are? Well, I believe these are from the Ruined Mimic. In some way they are, mainly because it's below our main objective, find Gregory, and once we find him, we know it's the Mimic. And I don't think these are from Help I because they just don't act the same. Help I doesn't care if Roxy was Cassie's favourite. After we do it, all Help I says is that we are out of the Vanny Mask zone. More proof to suggest these are from the Mimic is this, pointed out by this person in one of my live streams. In the hint it says I'm lonely. This would be coming from the Mimic who is all alone in the basement, so it's the Mimic somehow contacting Cassie. But why does this matter to where the White Tiger is? Well, once we start getting closer to the Mimic, we get these messages. You're getting warmer, you're burning up. These are still from the Mimic, yes, but I don't think the Mimic himself thought of these. I believe this is David's spirit's new way of projecting himself, by influencing the Mimic to now say things he has heard. Mainly because the line comes from Edwin in David's 4th birthday tape.
Oh, you're cold. Getting hotter. Hotter! You're burning up!
Where only David, M1, and Edwin would have heard it. So unless M1 is the Ruined Mimic, which, and sure, it could just be M2 saying things, but usually all of his Gregory lines come from Gregory.
I'm Gregory. I'm Gregory. I'm trapped.
So I believe David's spirit in Ruin is trying to take control of the Endo, influencing it to say things. But now, for the conclusion. On David's 5th birthday, someone had killed him. M1 had killed him. But David's spirit lingered around, latching onto the endoskeleton. And years later, when Arnold arrived, the spirit projects itself through M2 as a ghostly white tiger, being almost a mix of the both, being David's favourite toy and mimicking just like what M2 did. And after it all burns, it stays with M2, till Ruin, now influencing the program to say things instead of projecting from it. Thank you all for watching, but remember, this is all a theory. You can disagree and that is completely fine. Please comment your thoughts and theories below, and again, thanks for watching and have a great day.